I'd like to call to order the Common Council meeting for May 18, 2015. Bobby, will you please lead us in the invocation?
It's great to pray. We just want to be thankful, and you all may say something later, but we're excited about Amy. She's a little girl, right? Little girl. So what a blessing for our was it our comptroller, I guess she is. All right. Gracious God, we thank you for this day. God, we thank you for how you continue to bless us and keep us. Lord, we ask you to continue to be with each and every person present. We thank you, God, how you continue to bless our council and continue to keep them protected. We ask you to bless all of our staff, all the persons that we have that do such hard work and work so great, so hard to make our community great. Be with all the first responders, God. Never want to ever take for granted all that they do for us and to continue to keep us safe. God, we ask you to continue to help us to be a great city and a good city and also a pleasing city that we look out for our community. We want to all try to be together as one. We ask you also, God, to continue to be with Amy and her family. Thank you, God, for blessing them with their baby, Lord. So continue to watch over them. And God, all of us have someone in our family that may be sick, someone may be having issues or some things going on. We ask you, God, help us to have the strength to help where we can. God, help us to have the wisdom to know the things we cannot change, but also, God, help us to know, Lord, that you have all things are possible if we continue to trust in you. So, God, we ask you to continue to guide us and keep us, order our steps. We ask it all in the name of Jesus the Christ. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Councilperson Smith. Councilperson Sestovny.
Present.
Councilperson Wadsworth.
Present.
Councilperson Sellers.
Present.
Councilperson Webb.
Present.
Council President Gill.
Present.
And I don't know where the other three are, but let the record reflect that 6 council members are here and the 3 at large are absent.
I will add to that, Dennis just let us know prior that he was not going to be here. I think he's out of town. And Nathan, due to a medical reason, he's not here tonight, and I do not think we heard anything from Matt Owen, did we? Okay. I just want to let that be known. Okay. Minutes to be approved.
I make a motion to approve the minutes if there aren't any changes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I got a motion and a second to approve the minutes for council proceedings May 4th, 2015. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the agenda.
Unless there's changes, I'll make a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
Okay, you got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second to approve the agenda as is. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Claims to be approved. Heather.
Asking for approval of claims for $740,063.37.
Council President, I also have a hand carry claim.
Okay. What is the total? Go ahead. She has a hand carry claim.
I received a claim today from the Fire Merit Board dated January of 2015 for advertisements, and I called the Evening News because I had just received it today. And there was a mess up on the address, but anyway, since this is so outstanding, I'm asking that you also add $25.53.
Brings the total to $740,088.90.
Anybody have any questions on the claims?
Thank you.
Motion to approve the claims, including the hand carried.
Second.
Got a motion, a second to approve the $740,088.90, including the hand carry claim. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Heather. Any report from the clerk tonight?
None at this time.
Then we will move on to unfinished business, which is Scott Lewis, the 2015 OR 23, ordinance amending ordinance 2013 OR 8.
Yes, this ordinance has previously been passed on the first and second reading. I think this has already been discussed and reviewed by the council, so it's just up for a third reading tonight.
Motion to pass 2015 OR 23 on the third and final reading.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion, a second to pass 2015 OR 23 and a third and final reading. Any further discussion or questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Carries.
Thanks.
Okay, new business. We've got Sean Grant and Deputy Chief Fire Department for financing of the fire apparatus.
Yes, every 5 years or so, we have money in our budget allocated for new apparatus. What I want to get is permission from you guys to put our spec out for bid. I've worked alongside with Councilman Smith and Councilman Webb and also Councilperson Gill and I think also Nathan. What I want to do is give that, I think if you guys have the numbers in front of you, is what we came up with for the spec, the two apparatus. I'd like to be able to go ahead and put that out for bid.
I didn't know what all was in there.
Oh, you have that with you?
No, I thought they were not calling to ask you today if I needed it. I didn't bring a copy
Well, I
of it.
didn't realize it wasn't. Okay.
Okay, I didn't know if you guys...
Can you email that out to all of us?
Yes, I'll make sure you get the numbers.
That was presented at finance meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
I got something to call.
Huh?
My car.
Yeah.
Chief, I was just wondering, we just spent about 50-something thousand on the 96 Quint.
Uh-huh.
Is it something that we should look at, since we're buying another ladder, is it something we should look at keeping, knowing that there's going to be maintenance problems? Or is it something we need to see about trading in or selling? Have you all put any thought on that?
Yeah. Mike, of course you know, with used apparatus, that I think it would be beneficial that we keep it if we put it in a reserve status in the event that one of our other ladders goes down for maintenance or something other that we can put it in place. For what you're going to get for it in the used market, in the secondary market, I mean, you're going to probably get $8,000 to $10,000 for it, maybe 20. So I think it'd be beneficial for us to keep it and use it as a reserve apparatus.
So you need a motion to go ahead and move towards the advertising?
Yeah, in the bid process, yes, sir.
Make that motion to go ahead and for the fire department to move towards the advertising of a new ladder apparatus, Quint, and a tanker pumper?
Yes, sir.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion, comment, question? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, guys.
Keep them down.
Councilman Smith, one thing on that, I know Clarksville has asked us
Come to the
before
podium, please.
they don't have a reserve apparatus for their ladder. And their chief, Chom Upton, had mentioned possibly splitting the reserve apparatus between the two departments. So they would maybe purchase half of what that, but it's something I'll bring to you guys and have Sean check into.
It's a 96, and things setting is as bad as things running.
But
That's my only thing is,
Right.
if we can recoup our money out of it, we just spent, 50 or 60 on it. It's just a thought. If it's not worth a whole lot of money, that's fine, but, as far as loaning to other departments, we probably need to think about that a little bit, because...
I would want them to have some skin in the game on that apparatus, not just have the city of Jeffersonville pay for it and both partners use it. Yep. We're switching, put both names on it for about 600. Yeah.
They can put their name on it.
Okay, we've got Joe Hurt, President Fire Union, Local 558, request for one additional firefighter.
Something like that. Hey, actually, I'm requesting for 3 additional firefighters. I think the reason you've said 1 is because
We had 2 in the budget.
the council had, budgeted for 2. It was brought to my attention there may be a little bit of a miscommunication here on these hires. So the reason that the union even came to the table on this it was a safety issue that we've seen. With the new safety standards on aerial devices and the new switch that I explained, and I'll gladly re-explain if anyone needs me to, these trucks can't operate at full functional capacity safely with 3 people. And our contract does state that we have a 3-person minimum staffing on our frontline apparatus. So essentially what I've asked for is 3 new hires because we run 3 crews. We have one of our aerial apparatus is the new standard of safety. So 3 hires that are placed on each crew to add to the current staffing on that apparatus would bring our minimum staffing of that apparatus to 4. And I've brought this up, and if I wasn't clear, I apologize, but I would also be wanting to change the contract to have a 4-person minimum staffing on that apparatus because this is a safety issue. If there's any questions on that, if I wasn't clear on that, I'm sorry, but I thought I had been.
Well, the thing is, you met with finance.
I did.
And you did have, but I didn't know who all you met with. I know that Tony wasn't aware. And Steve. Well, we met.
Made the
but-
motion to, I was there.
Yeah.
We don't have the power to change the contract.
No. Well, we have the power to change the contract, right? Right. Sure. Well, and it's not something you want to change right at this second because we don't have the manpower to change to implement the 4-person staffing until the 3 people are hired. And it's not a 1-week process, as we know, with the hiring process. So there's plenty of time to get the guys hired, to get the contract changed to read the way it would need to. I mean,
what Joe's saying there is if we were to change that contract prior to the additional 3 coming on, it would put us behind the 8 ball in overtime because then we'd have to staff before we got the people. And
right. If we were able to, which we're not, able to change the contract tonight, we would be kind of shooting ourselves in the foot because we don't have the people, so then you'd be calling overtime every day to meet the minimum
So what we're
staff.
talking about today is getting the people first.
Getting the people first.
And you'll be coming back later to talk about the contract.
I'll start on, if we're getting these guys, I'll start on this week, getting the verbiage together, and then we can date it to meet when the people are available for starting online, yes.
I was never confused about that. I think the confusion came into with the amount of people that we were going to hire.
In the new truck.
Well, I think when we got the email from Chief Hedrick, that's when all the questions.
I know a lot of the working fires, a lot of the retirees show up like Chief
Yeah.
Miles. Maybe we can hold that button. Chief Miles? I know, I see you and Casey and everybody on fires. Maybe Mike, maybe we can hold it.
You guys still got your 3/4 boots?
Absolutely.
Hey, Scott, right now, the contract reads minimum staffing of 19. So with the addition of this as a safety, it will take it to 20, which will be changing. But we don't, right now, we don't have verbiage in the contract for a reopener. We only had for finance, the financial
Well,
piece.
parties can,
But we can open at any time.
yeah, there was a mandatory reopener, they put on notice about the financial issues, but, so there's not another automatic reopener provision other than voluntarily impose reopen contract at any time if both parties voluntarily reach an agreement. It's not
But I think it's two separate. We don't want to.
Yeah, I don't want to
let's-
mix that up. Right
Yeah,
now,
let's
that's
deal
not
with
what it's
this
about.
and get the firefighters
One
on
step at a
duty,
time.
and then we'll address that when they're ready.
I
So
think we're clear on this year, but give us a scenario of next year on this new fire ladder.
So,
Go ahead.
I've been told 10 months to a year out, we replace, so the reason we're asking for 3 now is because the only aerial we have with that new safety standard is at Station 2. The old 96 that Councilman Smith was speaking of doesn't have that. Essentially, now well, it was made before these new safety standards came about. When the new apparatus is implemented down there, then yeah, I mean, we would ask also that one be staffed with 4 people because it has the same standards as the one we have at 2's.
One more then.
Be 3 more.
3 more, but that's a year away.
But that'd be next year.
Yeah, that won't be here.
Right.
I won't
But,
be here.
and that's where that's where the contract modifications would be addressed again next year when that happens. Because we don't want to say that we put 4 on every ladder. We only need 4 on the new standard ladder.
Right.
We only have 1 of those right now.
And maybe you could make it one contract reopener that reads something, all aerial apparatus purchased past this date.
Yeah.
You know, and then,
Let's worry one step at a time. We'll
Right.
hire the folks, and then we'll take the next step.
sure,
I think it was next year is what was the start on the new fire truck.
sure.
Yeah, I have some numbers I know that.
Numbers later.
The numbers, yes. I was under the assumption from when we talked earlier that there were already 2 in the budget and we were just going to get the 1 more. But looking at the budget numbers, the amount that actually was budgeted for 2014 compared to the amount that's budgeted for 2015, there's only a difference of almost $37,000. So I don't believe that those 2 were added in there
I've never seen that.
originally. And looking at what's already been spent so far, all the way to April, if we take that out 3 more times, we're only going to have a cushion of about $62,000. So that's not enough to pay for 2 more people. So I know that if we hire them later on in the year, they're not going to have to be paid for the whole year. The amount that was on the additional was for an entire year. So we need more than what's on the additional, but less than a
So-
full year's of 3
So
people.
what we need to do is, it's going to take roughly how long before the firefighters are on payroll?
I would say August 1st, so less than half a year that we'll
But
be
we
paying
need-
for them this year.
Okay, so we need to approve the numbers of personnel, and then
As of
Heather and you
August,
guys
I can change the number on the
We'll have to
additional.
have a
Right.
yeah. we'll
So
have
it's
to
not
have
hiring 1 new person, it really is hiring 3 new
3
people.
this year, and then next year it'll be 3
3 more on top of
full-time,
that.
but I mean,
Yes.
that's not
Does that make
a
sense?
problem, it's just gonna take a little while to get there, but
Right.
we got time.
We just, looking at the numbers today, we're a little concerned. We don't want to run the end of the year and we're $100,000 short.
And you all, Heather, you guys can kind of work that number out at some point.
Yeah,
this
we have that
summer,
number.
Come back and give us that
Mhm.
number, and then we can move
Yep.
it eventually into his 100 series.
Yep. For the new hires now, though, it's on the additional for something like 52 maybe on there, but we can amend that when it gets to my time for that, about what you're assuming, about 95,000 for the 3 new people for half the year.
And with the 52 and the 60, we're going to be real close to being able to cover their salary for 5 months. We do have to buy their gear and the training, and now that is a full expense because that doesn't get prorated for the year. We have to buy them all of their gear as if they started in January, so that amount stays true. But as far as the salary amount, we're only looking at 5 months, and we can get that number real close and come back to you guys. But I don't think we're far off.
Mhm.
Basically, our salary's about 42,000, so half. We're
I'll make a motion and to go ahead and give you the the nod or permission to go ahead and start the process for the 3. But in the meantime, along with that, I want you to get with Amy and finance and kind of with the gear and all that, kind of tweak all them numbers so at least we're not going to be running in the red in November or December. So that'll be something that she can work it out and bring it back to us. And
I have those estimated numbers now for the ordinance for tonight.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Okay, gear
Yes.
also?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
And with the circuit breakers, the way they came in, that we don't have any concerns of being able to afford them moving as the years go by, right, in the future, right? We're okay?
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
I thought so.
I have a
Yeah,
motion.
that's a
Do I have a-
motion to, again,
I'll
just to
second.
go ahead and hire the 3. And the numbers, there's going to have to be a process because we're going to have to change the salary ordinance. I think there's going to be a process that we will have to go through. And then if you got them numbers, you can get with her and then we can move forward on that. But I make a motion to give you the nod to go ahead and start the process for the 3 additional.
So I got a motion and a second. I'm not sure if you heard the second we had. It's actually Steve Webb. And then we had 2 seconds, but
Who's the loudest? She is.
any more discussion? Questions, concerns? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you,
Thank you all
council.
very much.
Thank you.
Think about the retirees pushing that button.
Okay, we got Chief Kavanaugh, training requests.
It's hard to believe they got it. Well, they really, I mean, I think they was on that apartment.
That we don't have?
No, you do have.
Oh, okay.
Just got it tonight.
Okay, Chief, you got the floor.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm coming before you in reference to officers attending training. The first is going to be a Napwata Canine workshop with canine officers attending. The cost of that's going to be $300 for 2 canine officers that are going to be attending. That's in my budget as well. And also there is a travel cost that is associated with it as well, $1,600, a total of $1,900. The second is going to be also a master trainer. He's going to be attending the same conference, and with him having the benefit of being a master trainer, the only cost we have to pay is his travel. Everything is covered by the membership association due to his responsibilities as a master trainer. The third is also going to be in reference to Indiana Law Enforcement Academy Basic. That is the state standard for the officers to be certified. That's going to be the 2 newest officers that are going to be trained within the department going to the state academy. That is the associated state cost of being $1,600 per officer for the mills. That is also present in our budget. The fourth is going to be a training that's going to be associated for a SWAT team leader development. It's going to be the newly SWAT commander of Major Hubbard and also the new team leaders that are going to be attending that training. The cost associated with that for registration is $2,784. Also an additional travel cost of $2,200. It's going to be associated with expenses. That is also covered within the police department budget as well. In addition to, I wanted to highlight, I have 2 officers that are going to be attending the Louisville Metro Police Department. It's a basic observation course, a sniper. I wanted to show that cost is going to be $0 to the department. They're going to be attending for free. The second is going to be a basic entry course as well for approximately 5 officers that are the newest officers now on the SWAT team that are going to be attending that course. That is also going to be free of charge for attending that training. Have an additional training that officers are going to be attending that we're looking at new ways, again, to save money. It's going to be through the FBI Academy. We started to research and look into ways to send officers to training that are free through the Department of Justice. We're going to be sending 2 officers to Harrison County to attend this training that is also going to be free of charge. I just wanted to go through and highlight with the trainings that you see. We come before you and we ask for the expenses to note those are going to be attending. You're going to also see me introduce into the trainings that we are attending for free. I want to make that to be publicly known that we take those resources that are available to us at no cost.
Chief, do we have right now the master trainers for the K9? Are we at that level now?
We have one that is previously we've had this agency, I think has had the very first in department history was retired Captain Cliff Lindsay. Second was retired
Captain Rick Ashenbrander, and now we're fortunate enough to have, prior to Ashenbrander retiring, we have Lieutenant Glenn Jackson. So he is a master trainer. He has been one for approximately now almost 5 years. So it allows them to do certifications. They do not do the certifications on our canines, but what he does in return, there's no cost or fee associated. We bring other trainers in. We may have to pay some other responsibilities to assist him with room and board of that nature, but he trades those services off around the country, and those expenses are handled with other agencies, and we reciprocate and do the return. The last training that I actually do have, I'm going to be sending 2 officers. We're going to take a look. This may not happen. We're under a time constraint and just came up available. But some of the new initiatives that we're launching with the police department, would be adding potentially up to 2 officers to attend the national certification of a basic school resource officer that's going to take place March the 31st to June the 5th in Olapika, Alabama. The cost associated with that is $495 per officer.
So all these trainings are within your budget or?
Yes, they are. Everything's within our budget at this present time.
Yeah. With that, I'll make a motion, we approve all the training requests by the chief.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any further comment, questions? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Was that an aye yes or an aye for opposed? Aye late, okay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay. You got the security?
Is that water or bottle? Yes. Moving on to the security access control system for the police department. This has been provided since we've actually entered the police department in December of 14. It's brought to my attention that we have not taken care of the responsibility there, and we're getting that coordinated. I was able to do some things actually with the service itself and reduce it down to make a cost savings of over $3,000. I'm looking for a line appropriation of approximately $17,000, which needs to be a line item for us to have this service to be completed semi-annually. I want to note that we're currently, prior to me asking for this appropriation, the service has been provided for the police department by Security Pros.
Add that on to, okay. Mr.
Can you
Commissioner will
explain
address
that,
that.
Chief, just a little bit?
Yes. Basically, and I apologize, I did send an email. I found approximately 10 minutes before coming, the email didn't go out, so you're going to see with what information I can provide. The access control is the restricted areas within the police department that is monitored by camera, and that is also monitored by electronic fob. Moving around in certain areas of the police department, such as secure rooms, such as the property evidence room, and those locations we're able to monitor and control who comes in or out. In addition, as you see, the front access and the side of the west building access, when you pull around to the police department coming through the gate, that leads you over into an area where we also can deposit evidence storage for the outside. We're able to pull in vehicles. We have that controlled by the same access. So when I say access control, that is restricted areas of the police department that we have, that service is being provided. That was initiated and set up prior to me by Lieutenant Grimm at the time of being chief. But the appropriation, we need to make sure that gets taken care of with the responsibility. That was set up at an initial price of approximately $1,800 a month. I've come in and involved, and I've got that reduced down to approximately $1,250 a month. As you see the 2 invoices there, that's going to be the associated fee. I mentioned in the finance meeting that the reason that would change, we have some other measures that I don't want to publicly get into. We're going to change that part of the service, and there's going to be an increase $50 a month fee. So the secondary semi-annual payment will be increased to meet the needs of what we need to have. Some other portions, parts, we're going to add an upgrade secured to the police department for proper evidentiary value.
I really don't think we need to take action on this right now, since it's going to be part of what Heather has later, or do we?
Okay. Part of that is appropriations.
So will you need, are you going to need a line item?
Yes, that was brought to my attention that is actually going to be needed. I confirmed, and you can see more in the email, and I apologize again that didn't go out. You're going to see from here, that's going to go a little bit more in the detail. But I did verify that this obligation wasn't met or taken care of, and that's how it needs to be done. So I was notified the first week they're taking the post as chief of police in regards to this matter. I've been working with security pros, and I just told them I needed amount of time to process some other things, and then I took a look at this from a different scope. I changed some of the access control. I've brought some things down. I just feel from the manner that we can control that aren't needed, and I reduced that cost about $3,000 on the year.
And Chief, I applaud your negotiation skills.
Thank you.
Okay, so I don't,
We don't need any action. on it
no,
tonight.
no, I appreciate it.
Any further questions? Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Miles, purchasing of a garbage truck. Because garbage trucks are just as important as fire trucks, right?
Yeah, they important, I tell you. They real important, as a matter of fact. If you want to hear something, you know.
Why don't you get some paint red, maybe some aluminum wheels?
Yeah, I may try to do that. Then I want you to be down there with me.
That and Jess guys back there.
Yeah, I come here today because of wanting to purchase another garbage truck. It is within our budget on the pricing for it. It's nothing new, not outside of our budget. We probably end up spending probably around $200-something thousand for one. And
Yeah.
we try to make sure we go locally when we do that. And that's basically what I want. I talked to Finance Committee. It's nothing we're going to add additional and new or anything. It's something we have in there. And I just want to emphasize that we do run these trucks a whole lot, and we just need to keep up with it. And
He
Because
does,
it's in his budget.
he does have 300,000 in
Yeah.
his
What do we
budget.
need, what do we need?
Well, because remember, we have that ordinance, anything over
Okay.
5,000.
yeah, so I have to go before you all.
One-armed bandit or?
No.
Appreciate it being planned for and in your budget. And with that, I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the fire truck.
Thank
Garbage truck. Lisa's got me all.
He got another fire truck. No.
Garbage truck.
The truck's gonna end up being around, I haven't got all my final figures, so I don't have all my quotes, and I got some of them. It's gonna be about 250,000. Yeah, yeah. Right.
Yeah. He just wanted the permission to go forward with the
Right,
bidding.
right, with all my,
It'll all be
yeah.
handled through Public Works.
Yeah, I'm waiting on my final paperwork come in, and we got something in on a lighter type truck, garbage truck, but we can't deal with a lighter one, not around here. We gotta have it heavier. We gotta have it heavier, something ready to go to work. So
And with this new truck, it's not gonna be one, is it gonna be one of those armed trucks?
no,
Okay,
no.
because
Chief Smith just asked me. No, it's not gonna be that.
I've watched that we have them, I don't know how you determine which subdivisions, whatever, but people don't move their cars, and I was watching and said, boy, that's more of a hazard and a more of a
I know if it,
hardship to get that through.
yeah, I know a few years ago they bought them to try to, save personnel, but they don't work, or they work okay, but you still need your people
Yeah,
and people
vehicles
who
in
have,
the way.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
They work okay. They get quicker. They work quicker sometimes.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor for the garbage truck, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries to move forward.
All right, thank you.
One quick thing,
Appreciate it. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Miles.
Yes, ma'am.
When you all put it out for bid, we need to know what day the bid, they're going to be accepted in our office.
Okay.
We'll need to know.
All right, no problem.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all.
Okay, next, I was asked by Nathan to place the green space maintenance discussion on the agenda, which I will turn this over to Ed. Unfortunately, Nathan couldn't be here tonight, but Nathan expressed the concern. It's very hard for us to have discussions because we're not all together at one time. We're by the open door law, so I will let Ed take that away.
Well, with that, Nathan sent a letter, so bear with me for a second. I'm going to go ahead and read his words because it is important to him and he wanted to get his words out there in public. The idea or consolidation of 3+ departments who mowed and landscaped was an idea that originated from the City Council, and we've appropriated additional dollars for this, and we feel this will be more efficient and enhance the look and upkeep of our city. The administration and department heads were all on board at numerous meetings held over a period of 9+ months. Now, whether it's how we worded the job description or whether we are getting away from the idea of hiring a qualified person to be able to know plant names, needs, soils, and conditions, what plants go where, and work best in shade, sun, etc. The way the job description was written, there seems to be too much wiggle room and may hire someone who does not do what the original intent was. This is not the fault of the applicant. When Councilman Ed Z came up with a compromise of taking the certified test that specifically states it helps municipalities determine if someone is qualified for the position we intended on, I thought that was an excellent recommendation. I greatly appreciate his researching and suggesting this. I believe I was told that the one hired for our position was told he could sit for the test. So I support leaving him in the position, leading the team until the test. He needs to be scheduled to take the next test, and if he misses it, I feel he should not continue in that position. If he passes the test, he remains the leader of the team, as he would be qualified according to the test. If he fails the test, he loses a position. He needs to understand that that is part of the deal going forward. I've spoken with the employee. I stated that was my position, and he needs to be well aware of this risk. The department in which the employee transferred from has held his former position, but I don't know if that can be held indefinitely. I am hopeful we will be able to maintain the original plan to hire the lead person who is extremely knowledgeable and trained to oversee all our needs for landscaping, key areas, and entryways, and to provide the appropriate maintenance, intervention, and plans for those. If we cannot, then I support not making the change to the new green team, since this plan was originally recommended and pushed by the council. And what Nathan is basically saying is that the council came up with an idea to consolidate different departments, head by a qualified professional, but also added additional people. And that leader was to know plants and animals and to be an expert, so that it could save the city money when it comes to planting trees and buying trees and placing trees, as well as maintaining bioswales, and also doing some of the basic maintenance of cutting grass and landscaping. So the compromise that I came up with was, when you can go online and you can go to professional organizations that have certifications and have tests to show a person's knowledge of any given subject, you can find that the American Horticultural Society, or the AHS, they have various levels of certifications, and their basic level is a certified horticulturalist. Easy for me to say. But they have a test that just shows you basic knowledge that you know plants, you know soils, you know landscaping, you know some of those basic things. The next test that's nearby our area comes up July 14th in Columbus, Ohio. It needs to be applied for by June 6th. So I think that would be the date that Nathan, and I think a number of us, including myself, would feel comfortable for this leader to sit on, to see if this person's qualified. And if he's not qualified, that we go back to the old way of doing it. Not look for another person to fill that spot, but say, hey, you know what? Let's go back to the old way. It worked. It may not be as efficient as what we're trying to do here, but then we could, maybe start over again and look at this again and be more detailed in the job description going forward.
I guess and I agree with that. My only concern is there are employees, this one in particular, that was moved from other departments to fill this new green team. Their positions are left open at this point. If we're talking about 2 more months possibly, and they have a test, would the department heads, are they okay with leaving them positions open? Because I don't want the green team members, not just the leader of the green team, but all the rest of the employees that came forward that was willing to take on this challenge, to lose their job. Because basically, if we defund it, if this gentleman doesn't pass the basic horticultural test, and we defund this new team, these employees, and I don't even know how many there are, if their position is not left available in a department, in Parks Department as an example, let's just say there was 2 guys came out of the Parks Department. If Paul was to fill them positions, then we've got 2 employees that there's not a salary for.
See,
And they're
that was not my impression that that's what was happening. They were going to take those salaries and they were just going to be moved to this. They weren't, the positions were just being moved over.
Okay,
So if it goes away, they will just be moved back.
They'd move back to the departments that
And
they
the money
originally-
goes, the money
The
follows.
money would go with them. yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm good with it. I mean, that's good.
Basically, what, the way Nathan explained it to me was, that he had the same concern, because I think this lead was to be looked outside of the, now that it was hired within, because the intent was each department had ones that were assigned to that specific task of grass cutting. Drainage had theirs. They were all going to move under one umbrella, but we needed the addition of the horticulturist and I think another laborer. There was 2 positions that we added, but since that wasn't really the case, this person just moving over that he was part of a different team, that's where we went. Nathan's concern was we really need to make sure everything's out front and everybody's fully aware moving forward, so he knows. We can't make him take the test. It's not our job, that's not our authority, we don't have that power. But what we can do, if we don't think that this is going to work as the way it was intended, defund it. And that's what Nathan wanted to make sure that was brought forward.
So what, given everything you said, what would work best what action can we take that would work best to make sure that either it's because the team worked almost a year on this to get the best of the best? Okay, as a matter of fact, our Parks Authority, Paul, interviewed people and picked people that he wanted to hire, which is not our job. That being said, what action do you all feel would be appropriate to make sure that not only we can move forward, but what happens if we have to move backwards? Whatever works, is fine with me, but I want to make sure we cover our bases. And I don't want anybody losing a job over something silly.
I think the reason we want to put this back on the agenda was to set the expectations. So no one will be surprised of what our expectations are and what actions happen moving forward. So our expectation is that that person will show that he's qualified and knows plants at a high level. And then if he does, the green team stays as is. If he doesn't sit for the exam or doesn't pass the exam, we're going to go back to the old system. And then we may revisit this again, but be more specific in our job description so there's no question of what our expectation is to hire a qualified horticulturist or a certified horticulturist moving forward.
Good job.
All right.
Getting back to Lisa's comment, how do we, and maybe, I don't know, maybe Les can help us a little bit, but how do we assure that this individual is aware of and is responsible to take this test?
Well, I think Nathan said he already talked to him in that letter.
I know, but we don't deal with it.
It's not up to the council.
That's my point.
It's not up to the council.
So-
I believe there's going to be a meeting Wednesday to discuss it with the executive branch,
Okay.
mayor, and I don't know who else would be involved in that. So just have to wait and see.
But our
Because if it's Dayton, Ohio, is it Dayton, Ohio?
Columbus.
Columbus, well, I mean, there's some costs here. Travel costs, maybe a hotel cost, if it's going to be an overnight stay. I'm not sure on that. So there is going to be some costs for this individual.
I think Ed said that the council, we'd cover that.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm thinking of things, I just wanted to throw it out there. It won't be that much, but
Yeah.
it is a cost.
I personally want this green team to work, so I hope he's qualified as could be and aces the test and gets the certification and we move forward past this issue. That'd be great.
So do we need any action on this?
I don't think we need any action today. I think we just wanted to make sure that everybody had the expectations set. So we know moving forward what's going to happen based on, the taking of the test or not taking of the test, the passing of the test or not passing the test. Everybody is now aware of the expectations and what actions will happen moving forward.
Did anybody have anything further that they wanted to, before we move on? Okay. Thank you, Ed. Okay, we're going to move on. As you all remember, got the employee raise next on the agenda. When we had our budget workshops the issues, different things came up, and we put things on hold until after circuit breakers. So we got the circuit breakers back, so now we're tasked with the raises. I've been meeting with Kim, and we've discussed this in the Finance Committee, and I have a list here that I'm going to read over. If I leave anything out, Kim or Heather, please add to it, because we have to be, I guess, for State Board of Accounts and for there's clarity, was discussed in the Finance, we make the decision to retro it back, the raises back. So we have that piece of it. So according to the salary ranges, the amount budgeted in the department performance increase pool was 3% of the current appropriation of employees. You all remember that, except Steve and Tony. You weren't here during budget, but we did budget 3% in each of the departments for the performance, and that means they have an evaluation. It's based on their performance, and it's not just across the board. And that department head has a form that gets filled out, and they determine the evaluation and what the raise is for each employee. So the department head office holder may award more or less than a 3% increase for employees based on performance in the following stipulations. Department head office holder may not go over the amount budgeted in the department's performance increase pool account. We're going to retroactive back to January 1st, 2015, unless anybody here on the council thinks otherwise. I've already talked with Heather, which does, not this Heather, well, I've talked with this Heather, but that payroll, Heather, at, a little bit extra work that she has to do, and she has to coordinate with Kim's office. They have a procedure that they have in place, and Kim could probably explain that better than
I feel
me.
like that was always the expectation of this this pool for raises, so yeah, I support that. I think council does as well.
And according to our, I think it's our employee handbook, our cap on the percentage increase per employee is 7% maximum. Is that in the employee handbook? Where'd we get that?
Salary administration.
Okay, thank you. And the cutoff date when hired is July 1st, 2014. As far as for the qualified, and then for current active employees, the review must be completed prior to the increase, and I believe Kim already said the evaluations, all the paperwork's already been done. So the department head office holder to complete the employee change form for each employee and turn to HR by June 1st, 2015. Now, Kim, you weren't there. Does that give you enough time to do what you have to do?
I think we can make it work.
Okay. And HR is to review the employee change form to comply with the previously stated. So we also, in what was discussed, of course, in addition to the 3% raises, was we do have the additional, the firefighters, which is the salary, the training, the uniforms, and all of that.
Well, that's contractual. These are non-contractual employees.
Well, but that'll be, okay. But in the plan, we also had a planning and zoning director made the request from going to $51,500 to $59,000, and also with the parks director from $51,414 to the $59,000. So that's something we need to discuss. That did move on with a favorable recommendation from finance. And the park administrative assistant from part-time to full-time, which Paul is here, and I can say by working a lot in that department, that's well needed. Remember, that was brought to us during the budget workshop too, and we put that off to after circuit breakers. So those are the things that we need to discuss and take action on now that the circuit breakers have been back.
Sure. Yeah, one other thing that Heather and I talked about today, that probably needs to be noted, is when we made the change to fire and police to go to the pay grade, I don't believe that was reflected in the budgets. Because fire and police admin staff, that 3% is not in the budgets, correct? Yeah, I don't.
Because when the budgets were done, they were still under the 50 plus base and 40 plus base, or base plus 40 and 50. So that's not in there.
So will you have to put together a number including that?
Just for that portion. I have numbers for all the other portions.
Do you want to do them all at once, or just do this portion and then do that?
We can go forward with what we've got tonight, and then I can bring that to you.
Okay.
And the only other thought too on what you just read was, so the department head or office holder brings those change forms to Kim by the 1st of July, or
June 1st, yes.
and then Kim will have 2 weeks to get them to finance. So just so that the department heads know that it's a process that takes, it's not something that you all say go and it happens tomorrow.
Right, and that's why I wanted to read it so everybody was aware. And what we can do is if I can get a copy of that, then I can share that. We can discuss this Wednesday at department head meeting.
So we need, this need to be 3 readings.
You've got it, that is your second appropriation on the agenda.
Appropriation is this, she just read as terms.
Yeah, I just want to make you all aware, this was all discussed in the finance committee, and just so you know, and then of course, if there was any questions or concerns, and let you know that we're all on the same page about retroing and back to January.
Do those terms need to be like accepted as a motion or put in the record or anything?
I think it would be good, yeah.
I'll make a motion to support those terms as read.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion, question, or concern? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Kim. Okay, we've got Heather Metcalf, an ordinance of additional appropriation, and there will be a public hearing on this on June 1st, 2015.
Do you want to do the one about the raises first, since we discussed that?
Yeah,
Okay.
that way it'll be less confusing.
Well, we'll get,
Just to put it out in order.
Yeah, keep it
Oh,
on.
yeah.
Is there an order on the agenda?
Stay in
Doesn't
order.
really say, so.
But it is on my stuff.
Oh, is it? Okay. Don't get out of order. Okay. Out of order.
we're looking at the one that starts with Bisting Park construction?
Yes.
Okay, that's the one we're looking at now.
Okay. Do you want me to go through all of what they're for? This is appropriating cash for supplies, the Covert Hawkins contract, and for netting for the Worley complex. And there is cash in this fund to cover for these expenses. The next one is for the attorney bill from 2014, and I have a new number on that one that I can adjust if you so choose. The invoice is for $20,227.05, so I'd like to change that to $20,300, just to kind of round up. That's okay with you all? The next portion is for the engineers. When that pay changed from a 60% out of the general fund and then 20 out of drainage and 20 out of wastewater, we inadvertently didn't budget for their Social Security or Empress. And so that's 60% of those numbers. And then the longevity is for 100% because your longevity comes out of the majority of your pay fund. Due to the, and then the next line is a transfer out from your transfer out line because the circuit breaker came in lower than your originally budgeted. So instead of doing true additionals in the general fund, I'm just going to kind of swap it around and move money from the transfer out. So it's really kind of a net zero. Okay, does everybody understand that part? The next portion is, I inadvertently forgotten the Social Security and Empress for police and fire merit, and there was some that was left over in the clerk's budget for the fire merit board. So that's kind of like a transfer there, so there's a net zero for that one. The next one is, Nathan brought up that he would like to have $25,000 appropriated for contract services in the Public Arts Fund, and that's cash that they have in that budget. The next part is for the police. There is $10,000 request for reappropriating receipts that he has already received for that into the Housing Authority pay, and we can do the transfer from your transfer out for that number. And then the other number that, let's see, for equipment, he would like to appropriate cash for the $20,000 out of the local law enforcement continuing ed fund, and then the $17,000 that he asked for earlier tonight for the access control bill. Next portion is out of Lowett for the repair and maintenance for the fire truck, that new, or the older fire truck. That's the $70,151. Next portion is for improvements for building authority. This one is for paving the parking lot here at City Hall for $24,250. Next one is for the finance, for equipment. We would like to purchase some shelving for the storage room, the conference room furniture, and some bookcases, and that's a transfer out of what you originally put in your budget for back at budget time. You had some moved over from capital, yeah. Next portion is for vehicle maintenance, and that is for a paint booth. That is also the $32,600 was originally budgeted in the council's budget, because anything over $5,000 you wanted it under your budget. And then there's also an additional $7,400 for the paint booth to bring it up to $40,000 total to come out of your transfer outline. And then the next one is the nice biggie for transfer out for $2,881,475 for the circuit breaker. So that is that additional appropriation request.
Do I have any questions for Heather concerning what she just went over?
Ordinance number 24.
Motion to pass 2015 OR 24 on the first reading.
Okay, got a motion, a second to pass 2015 OR 25 in the first reading. Is there any questions, comments, or further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Heather, but you're still up. Okay. We've got an ordinance of additional appropriation. Will this also be a public hearing June 1st, 2015?
This is to move the appropriation from the council's budget to the individual department's budget for the increase for pay raises. The first part is all regarding the 3% pay increases, so it's kind of lumped by each department. The next portion is for the one new firefighter, which I would like to have amended for that 52,116 to be at 95,000. The training would be at 6,300. And then the transfer out would be adjusted for those two numbers added together. And then the uniforms would be at 25,500. So those, the training and the uniforms would be times 3. And the next portion is for the addition for the planning and zoning director that had a other increase. Then the next section is for the Parks Department to bring the administrative assistant full-time and the director up to the requested amount that you all discussed earlier.
So number 25?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Motion to pass ordinance 2015 OR 25 on first reading?
With the changes? Or
The changes, yeah.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to pass 2015 OR 25 with the changes. Any further discussion, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Heather, and you're up on the additional transfer of certain funds within the same department.
that is a transfer for a river stage to move some money to equipment. I think they purchased some things for river stage. I don't really remember.
I think it was related to moving the river stage downriver. Was that not right? I think that's what it was.
Related to moving the river stage
Yeah, I
downriver?
think it was electrical equipment had to be extended to reach the river stage or to...
I think it was amplifiers and some other equipment type things.
It was a result of
Is
it
it because
moving,
of that?
right?
So they had to buy new equipment for that.
Well, I'm on a roll, so I'll go. Motion to pass ordinance 2015 OR 26 on first reading.
Second.
Got a motion, a second, to pass 2015 OR 26 in the first reading. Any further discussion, questions, comments? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Heather. City Council Attorney, uniform conflict of interest, closure to statement for Dennis Julius.
Yes, this is the annual, this is the annual uniform conflict of interest disclosure statement that all employees
You're required to have signed and approved by the board that they're a member of for businesses that may do business with a governmental entity. So this is for Mr. Julius for the Walnut Ridge and 300 Spring. We've done that each of the last couple of years since he's been a member. So it just needs to be approved by this body since he's a member of this body and signed by the president.
I make a motion we approve.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Scott. Okay, do I have any, I've got department heads. Do I have any department heads here willing to speak? Okay. We don't have any board reports, but we do have a public comment. We have Pat Barrow for MAC Pollution.
Thank you. I'm Pat Barrow. I live at 1800 Dutch Lane, and I have, would you pass this out? I think I got enough for you two over here. I have a report here that you're going to see, and the report was put together to give us some knowledge about the chemicals that are expelled from MAC asphalt. All I want you to do is have the opportunity to go through it and have a little more knowledge. I certainly learned a lot from it, and if you have any questions, let me know. I can provide you someone that would have the answers. That won't be me. But it's very interesting. It lets you know that there's things like arsenic, chromium, lead, magnesium, mercury, and formaldehyde, plus a lot of others I can't even mention, that are expelled in the air there. So I'm going to also be given, because Thomas Jefferson is so close, I'm going to give this same report then to the heads of the school board too, so they know what it is. Just gives us a little more information, and that's all I wanted to provide for you. I know it was pretty courageous, I thought, for Mike Moore to pull the permit, and I want to see to it that we get the benefit from it. I don't think the council will be involved, but if you're asked, at least you have some information to go by. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, let me give you one for Matt.
Yeah, I also know they have to get like permits from the state every year for this, and I
No.
think
No,
no.
no, the state,
I
they're
thought
not
the
even,
IDEM,
no.
no.
They give a report every 5 years, and it's up to them to, they do self-reporting. So, no, they don't. I thought so too, Connie, but they don't.
Because I believe we've been through this before several years ago.
I understand, but that's not how it works. So I just thought this would be interesting. It's put together by,
I know I'd received those reports before from other, like Dow Oil Industries, because they send them to the council, and it comes from IDEM.
That's their air pollution permit.
air quality
Yeah, air
control.
quality.
Yeah.
permit.
They are, do it themselves, and they turn in their own reports. And then I think it's once every 5 years or so, IDEM comes out and checks. The first time they checked, they wrote up some reports. They weren't meeting the standards. And I don't know from that point what else has gone on with it. I know that we still have days that we can't breathe or go outside, and I'm sure there's others, not just us. But this will just give you some information. That's all I wanted to do. It was out there, and I thought, well, since it's public, it would help if you all had a copy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm moving on to council comments. Councilperson Smith. Councilperson Stone.
No comment.
Councilperson Wadsworth.
No comment.
Councilperson Sellers. Councilperson Webb.
No comment.
Well, you've all read it tonight. I do want the council to know we did receive 2 thank yous for the flowers that we sent for Bob Miller's family, and we also received a thank you for Gus Vissing. And our condolences once again, Mr. Smith, the loss of your father. And also wanted to bring to attention, I was hoping she was going to be here tonight, but I think, as you all are well aware, that Candy Stewart is going to be leaving us the end of this month, so this would have been her last council meeting. So Candy has done an outstanding job for us. She is our administrative assistant, and I can't thank her enough because she really looked out for us. She kept us educated. She kept us informed on ribbon cuttings and other things, anything I needed a copy of. She was there, always willing to help, and I just wanted to wish her luck, and if you all could pass that on to her. Yes.
Yeah. The reason Candy's leaving is due to the fact she's a grandmother now, and she wants to spend more time with her grandchildren. So we're going to be doing a little bit of juggling around in the office. So I will be your all's contact person. Jamie will be taking on a little bit more responsibilities, and so will Patty. Jamie's still going to be doing the court accounting, financial reports, and doing some more of Candy's job. And then Patty is going to be in the court, and she's going to be working in the back with us too. And so, but any questions or anything, I'm going to be the main person. I'll be doing all the claims and things like that. So.
Thank you. Just pass on where she will be missed.
I will.
Job well done.
She is going to be greatly missed.
Okay, that's all I have. Is there a motion to adjourn?